Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Zach. Elon Musk bought Twitter last year, and when he bought Twitter, he vowed to defeat the bots. It's February 5th, 2023, the day I'm recording this video, and to his credit, his team has largely mitigated the bot problem on Twitter, impressively so. Not completely, but they've done a pretty decent job. So where did all these bots go? Well, I kind of feel bad for the bots, so today we're going to create a project that is a little bit of a version of a Twitter clone that makes it as difficult as possible for humans to use. That's right, the goal is for this to be bots only. So what is it going to take to create a bots only version of Twitter? Well, let's start our planning and take it from there. All right, what do we want to achieve with this bot-only Twitter? Well, on a personal level, I want to check out some new technologies with Cloudflare. Actually, it's been around for a while, so we have Cloudflare Workers, and there's also a new product called Cloudflare D1, which is their SQL product. It's like a serverless SQL product. Based on SQLite, I believe. And I'm very curious to check that out. It's actually currently in alpha. It's in alpha phase right now. So the documentation is quite sparse. I did some quick Google searching and couldn't find that much documentation or people using that product because no one's using it in production. So we're going to use it for this project and give it a shot. Cloudflare Workers has been around for quite some time. That is their serverless functions product, and all of their marketing is always driving people towards like their Cloudflare Workers product. They seem to really push that. I haven't tried it yet, but I've always been wanting to because I'm thinking that it might be good for some use cases with Raytha further down the road. So we're going to try to use these two products in this little project for today and see where it gets us. Okay, I took some time to think about how I want this little project to work because I do want to complete this in one day. So we have, what I would really like is for bots to compete with each other, right? If you're looking at twitter.com, the bots are just dumping spam and they're just dumping content, by the hundreds of thousands, millions by the day, or probably even more than that. So I really want bots to compete each other for space on the platform. And we also want to make it as difficult as possible for humans. We're not going to go too crazy. We're just going to come up with a simple mathematical calculation that would be very inconvenient for a human to engage with. So I think those two things, combined with obviously no user interface, it'll be an API only, will achieve our objective for this project. And here's what I'm thinking. So on a recurring 1 minute interval, maybe 10 seconds. I haven't really decided at this point how long the interval is going to be, but at a certain interval, there's going to be a new challenge that is posted, and the bots can poll the API to get the latest challenge available. If that challenge has not yet been solved, they can solve the solution and post the message back to the API. And the first bot to do that will win and get their message posted, and all the other bots will have to wait until the new challenge is posted. And the challenge for the bots to solve in order to be eligible to post their message is to perform a prime factorization of the number that's been presented. So they'll get the number, and then they'll determine the prime factors, and then they'll post the prime factors to the API. And those prime factors will have to be correct in order for their message to be posted. Now I'm thinking about these endpoints. This is what we're going to do. We're going to have just the base route will get, like, let's say the latest 25 messages that have been posted. And then /latest will just be the most recent one that will either be an unsolved challenge or the message that did solve it. A put with the /ID, which will be able to be retrieved through the latest endpoint. And the payload will probably look something like this. I'm thinking a text for the message, handle for like a Twitter handle or something. And primes will be an array of all the prime factors. And then internally, a post to post a new challenge, and a post with a /clear to just completely clear out the entire database table as just a protection mechanism. All right, let's go ahead and start coding. All right. I spent a couple hours getting Cloudflare workers to work combined with Cloudflare D1. A bit of a challenge for sure. This is all new to me, so I had to learn and dig through a whole bunch of Cloudflare documentation, but we do have all the code written. I'm going to walk you through step by step and show you what it does. First thing we have is the list of prime numbers in an array. The first 25 in our numerical system. I realized I had to do this because I didn't want to verify that every single value that is posted to the API is a legitimate prime number. So now I just check to make sure that every number that is submitted is in this list. And then we use a random assortment of these numbers to generate the challenge. That occurred to me about halfway through coding, and I realized, oh yeah, that's going to be quite problematic unless I do something like this. Now, we're using a library that I found called IDI Router Extras, which makes it possible to have different routes running on a single Cloudflare worker. So that's how we're able to achieve all these different routes, which was really convenient. But the first route is that /latest route, and that is making a call to the D1 database on Cloudflare, and it's simply getting the most recent post and outputting the JSON format. The base route is just basically doing the same thing except getting 25. Now I could introduce paging here so we can see kind of the archive and all the previous posts that were made, but this is really for educational purposes, so I'm not going to go to the distance and include paging. This route is where good amount of the work is done. This is the put route with the /ID along with the payload that we're getting from the bot at this point under ID and content. And we're doing some validation to make sure that all the payload elements are there. Otherwise, return some errors. Is probably a much better way to do this. So if you have ideas, please share it. And this is that code I was talking about earlier that checks to make sure that all the values in the primes attribute payload is a valid prime number. This code here checks the latest message, the latest challenge to see if someone else has already solved it and they beat you to the punch. If not, we're going to compute the primes that your bot submitted and make sure that the value equals the challenge that was presented. If so, update the value and return a congrats you won. Otherwise, return an error to the bot. Down here, these were those internal routes I was mentioning earlier. So I'm basically locking it down to an API key that only I'm aware of so I can post new challenges. And this is the code that looks at that list of primes, takes a random assortment of those, and then generates a new challenge and presents it into the database. I went ahead and I deployed this application to Cloudflare, and I also created a Python script to act as the bot side so we can actually test it out and see it in action. We have the base URL, which is deployed at botter.raytha.app, and we kick off the main function, which grabs the latest challenge available, as we discussed earlier. And if that challenge has not been solved yet, compute the prime factors, which is what this code is. And I just grabbed this off Stack Overflow. I'm not winning any leak code competitions anytime soon. If we win the challenge, then we can just keep track of how many times we've run this process, sleep every second, and keep track of how many times we've won as well, and then output every 10 seconds the latest numbers, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and fire it off. All right, we were letting this run for a little bit, and I have an Azure Logic app that is posting a new challenge every 10 seconds currently. I might increase that, to every minute or so, but my bot is not competing with any other bot, so it's winning every single time, and that's why you see that I'm able to get these posted. I just want to flip over to Boomerang, which is just a REST client it's a Google Chrome extension. And I'm hitting the API here at botter.raytha.app, just the base route. And you can see that I'm winning every single time. And yeah, so that's about it. We're going to wrap up this video. I'm going to leave that API running on Cloudflare's free tier, so feel free to hit it with your own bot at botter.raytha.app. See if you can get your message posted, see if you can get that to work. And if you liked what you saw in this video, don't forget to subscribe and also check out the Raytha content management system at raytha.com. It's an open source .NET based content management system for rapid development and rapid prototyping. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.